Awesome. Just Zach Yenser, offensive line coach here at University of Kentucky. Just want to say how excited I am to be here and working with the Big Blue Wall and the rest of Big Blue Nation, man. I'm excited to be here, carry on Coach Schlarman's tradition in that room, what he's built, and continue to build that culture, what Coach Stoops has done here the last 10 years. So excited to be here.
That kind of works with Lexington here. You didn't play for John. He hired you as like a grad student. Can you kind of walk us through your past with Coach Schlarman?
Yes, sir. So I got done playing at Troy in 2006. I actually played for Neil Brown was on staff. Tony Franklin was the offense coordinator. Neil was the inside receivers coach. And then when I got done playing in 2006, our O-line coach left for Texas Tech. And Coach Franklin hired John Schlarman as the offense line coach. And I came back to be his graduate assistant when I got done playing at Troy. So that was my first connection with Schlar in 2007. That 1 year before I left and took a Division II job.
Mark Stoops was saying that he sees some similarities. How do you think, how did John impact you?
Yeah.
How do you think you sort of carry on kind of his?
No doubt. Schlar he was such an impactful person for me as a young football coach, just seeing how he treated the players. And it was really cool to see it as a young guy because you heard stories about, coaching football where you couldn't be a good football coach and like a good father, a good husband. Like you couldn't, just the time and watching him as a young guy do it and how he treated his players and how he treated his family. And he was a daggone good football coach. So everybody was a little different. Like he treated everybody a little different. He kind of knew how each person ticked. He would get up close to some guys or he would, he knew who he could talk to in front of the room and just taking all that in as a young football coach has been very impactful for me.
Coach Moore from Catchball here in town. Are you going to wrap your head around the whole fact that you started with Schlarman and now you're here?
I can tell you right now, it's very surreal. Like it's just really surreal to think about it because it's just keeping up with Schlar throughout, once I started with him and then as we kind of grew, he stayed at Troy. I went on to a Division II school and then ended up going in GA and at La Tech and stuff like that for Coach Franklin again, but just always staying in touch because of the impact that he had on me and then seeing what he did here starting in 2016 and where the pinnacle of it when they win in 10 games and everything like that. And then honestly, like now taking over that room, I'm starting to understand. I mean, I really haven't like you said, I really have not wrapped my brain around it. Like it's still surreal to me. It's an absolute privilege to do it. And like I've told you guys before, like I'm not taking it lightly at all, but it's very surreal how just full circle it's come. Since 2007 when I started working for him.
It's a responsibility and an honor at the same time.
It is 100% an honor. I mean, the responsibility because you know what you have to do as a football coach. You know your responsibility as an O-line coach, and I do believe it's the most important position on the field. But there is a little bit extra of I want to do a good job for John. I want to do a good job for his family and just to carry on that tradition.
Josh Moore, the Herald Leader, when you come into a place with the culture, you kind of talk about the blue wall and that stuff. How common is that around the country? Where it's the O-line is like valued.
Yeah. In college football, not like it's unbelievable, right? You don't see it very often at all. And I think it's a huge credit to what Coach Stoops has done here and obviously what Schlar started, but it's really, really cool. I came in the NFL from a place at the 49ers, which was a first-class organization and really took pride in their offensive line and obviously the style of offense that we were and everything and wanting to implement that here and build that to but coming here in college football, you never see a position group, like you do here with the Big Blue Wall. And it's really, really cool as an offensive lineman because normally when you're getting pressed as an O-lineman, it's usually because you're giving up a sack or a negative yard. You know what I'm saying? So it's really cool to see. And those guys have earned it. And, it's a big part on the coaching staff and the culture that Coach Stoops has started here. But those guys in the room have grasped it, and they are it's a lot of credit to those guys.
From KSR, you talked about, you spent a lot of time in the air raid and then that's kind of a stark contrast from what
Yeah.
San Francisco does. What made you want to get into to make that jump?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I played in the spread system, and I've coached most all my college before getting back into it. Now was more of a spread offense, more of an air raid style offense, and was really cool. I mean, I enjoyed playing in it. It was fun. You played fast, but I was really ready to just go really learn football and the structure of football and how to run the football against anything. And that's what I think the NFL, because you have the time and you have that. So that was my goal, to get in and to learn and to and and then now being able to come back here and implement some of that pro style offense, with my background, being in the spread offense and understanding the RPOs and understanding how to put other people in conflict. It just added to, I guess, to my football knowledge. And it's been really cool the last 3 years in the NFL, learning a different aspect of the game.
Obviously, when you got hired, you thought you were going to work for Liam.
Yeah. Yep.
What were you saying to Rich in the process of interviewing? What was that?
Yeah. So obviously was really fired up about coming here with, wasn't the main reason I was coming here with Liam. I mean, the main reason was Coach Stoops and getting to work with this offensive line and Schlar's legacy. And obviously there was just a bonus with Liam, just with that style of offense, coming from the Rams and those guys being us being similar, in the thought process. But once Liam leaving, and there was the whole interviewing process and all that stuff, and then kind of talking to Rich about it, and he's kind of perking up about it and saying, like, and then I mean, the only advice that I gave Coach Stoops about that, he asked me, and I said, if you have a chance to hire Rich Gangarillo, you go do whatever you can to hire that guy, because he's a really, really good football coach. And that was all I said to Coach Stoops. And me and Rich kind of talked about it just, briefly. And obviously us working together and being on the same page is huge, I think, with the offense coordinator, the O-line coach being on the same page, the same verbiage, the same, kind of thought process I think is huge for an offense.
Oh, my understanding is you were born in Fort Mitchell, you moved
Yep.
to Georgia.
Yep.
Your mom went to UK. Did you grow up rooting for Kentucky?
Yeah.
football?
So my parents still own a house where I was born in Fort Mitchell. Mom's a UK grad. So when we moved to Georgia for my dad's job, I mean, we never became Braves fans, never became Falcons fans, right? And never became Georgia fans. Like, it is like forbidden in our family. So like we were Reds, Bengals, UK. I mean, growing up, and I was Bengals all the way until I got the job with the Niners. Like I mean, some of my Facebook memories that pop up, like some of my comments about growing up as a Bengals fan, like I still laugh about, just because I was a true, like, and now I can go back to rooting for the Bengals now that I'm not with the Niners anymore. But like, yeah, it was Houday, it was Reds, and it was Big Blue, man. And it still is in my family. My sister played basketball at Florida, and she is still like a diehard Kentucky fan. So like, we're just all messed up as a family, but we are.
Favorite UK player when you were a kid?
I mean, growing up, it was hard not to be a Lorenzen fan as a O lineman. And I remember in the paper, the picture of him with his starting five in the back of, like, it was him standing with his starting 5 linemen, and it had him and it was like he was the same size as those guys. And like, growing up as an O lineman, you were just like, that's the coolest thing ever, right? It doesn't get any better than that. So.
Radio, inherited this room, had a lot of success. What are your first impressions of the guys in this room? Just kind of their mantra. Obviously, it's different when you got to play all line. And then now you're starting to work with them, what do you think it's been about this group that's made them so successful?
I'll tell you one thing, it's a very mature group, because it's not a very old group. I mean, it's not like you just have a bunch of seniors in the room and everything, but it's a very mature group. Those older guys, the Horsey, those type guys have really done a great job of taking these guys under the wing, and just the leadership. And that goes back to the guys that have played here, the guys that are getting ready at the combine, everything. Even the Drake Jacksons, the guy, Drake's working with us now in the office as an O-line GA. Like that culture was built long before I got here, but these guys have carried it on, and it's really cool. The one thing I can say, they all take care of their business. Like that was the one thing I asked them right when I got here, and you guys heard, I don't do laziness, and that includes like the classroom and showing up to tutors and stuff like that. And these guys have been on point. And that was before I got here. I mean, this is a really good group. And then you talk about just talent wise, it's a really good athletic long group, which is what you look for in O linemen, right? And they're tough, they're mean. And I can't wait to get them running off the football like our style of football is going to be running off the ball, setting angles. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a real fun time with these guys.
Have you gotten to talk much with Drake? And
Yeah, no, Drake's all like, I remember because we did Drake coming out. Obviously, we graded him coming out, as a center and everything. He was at the Senior Bowl and all that stuff. So 2 years ago when I was with the Niners, so I knew Drake, great football player. Obviously he has decided to come back and be a GA here, which I was fired up because the guys respect the heck out of him, right? The guys respect the heck out of him. He does a really good job. He's willing to learn. He wants to do it. So it's a win-win for me. I mean, he's here, he knows the guys, and he's going to be a really good football coach.
WDKY. The Wall is losing a couple big time guys
Yeah.
in Indy this week. How important is spring ball to replace those holes, and what is that process like?
These next 15 practices when we start is huge, right? To keep continuing to build that continuity of the up front, and we're losing 2 tackles and a center. I mean, to me, the center position is huge to get those guys tied in, and obviously this program has been, I mean, with Drake and with Fortner, I mean, with those 2 guys the last 6 years or whatever, I mean, it's been awesome, right? So hopefully we can continue that in that spot, because I think that's really what makes the room go, when you have a guy that has that leadership ability and getting the calls in, and then the tackle position, I want everybody we're going to compete. I mean, the best guys are going to play, and I think that's the beautiful part about spring practice. You got 15 practices, then you got the summer and you got fall camp. So it's not going to just be set in stone. It's going to be exciting. You got some young guys competing for it, but the spring practice is huge to continue to build that continuity.
What do you look for in the kids when you see that competition? What are you looking for in them?
I just want to see them not back down to competition, and I want guys not to think that they've already earned a spot. I mean, it's just constantly on edge of, hey, I think competition is huge in our room. And so nobody gets comfortable, acting like they got a spot or anything like that. Even if you're coming back from playing, I mean, maybe you started last year, but the best 5, I would love to find the best 8, find 8 dudes that can play on Saturdays, that you feel comfortable about rotating in and out. And heck, as long as you can play in the SEC, you're going to play on that offense line.
Is that something you would prefer to have a rotation, 7, 8 guys?
Oh, I would like if you can tell me, like, if we could find 8 guys and a constant like that and you're not going to see a big drop off when those guys go in, like that's like an O-line coach's dream come true. I mean, that's my thought process. If I can get those guys, if I can have 8 guys on a Saturday that can play and rotating in, and we're not having any drop off, I mean, that's huge.
How fair is it to expect Keontae Goodwin to play as a true freshman? He obviously had so much hype as a recruit.
Yeah.
Just physically.
Yeah, no, I mean, physically, the guy's an absolute monster, right? I mean, he just swallows a door frame when he walks in, right? I mean, it's pretty cool. It's really cool, and he's he's an awesome guy. Like he's like a sponge right now. He just wants to soak everything in. But I mean, like I tell guys, like whether I recruited Keontae, I had no in on him. He was here before I got here. But if he was an incoming freshman for me, I would tell him, like, dude, you're stepping foot on campus expecting to play, right? Don't come in here thinking you're going to redshirt and all that stuff, because that's just going to waste your year. Like, you are coming in expecting to play football, and then let the redshirt, let all that stuff, all that stuff will take care of itself, excuse me. Like, you come in with the mindset of, I'm coming in to play left tackle, and everything else will take care of itself. So, and if he's good enough to play, if he's good enough to be an 18-year-old starter at left tackle in the SEC, then he'll play. If he's not, then we have 4 games to play with, see how he does, redshirt, whatever, and we have a great plan for them. But I want that mentality, and that's for anybody. That's for anybody coming to this program is I'm going to play, and then you let the red shirt figure itself out.
If you were still playing O-line, what would it be like to play for a quarterback like Will Levis who would stick his nose in and knock somebody down?
Dude, stud, absolute. Like it makes you want to play. I mean, you obviously already have pride as an O-lineman playing and playing hard, but like playing for a dude like that, like, I mean, you would do anything for him, and that would be cool. I got to play for a guy like that in college. Omar, our quarterback at Troy, and I sense that here, like just that true leader, a guy that you will literally do anything for, and it's a pretty cool feeling as an offensive lineman.
Like, one of the things about hiring NFL coaches is a lot of times they go back to the NFL.
Yeah.
Are you a guy who sees yourself as an NFL coach or sees yourself as a college coach? Or-
I like my ultimate. I mean, my ultimate goal has been to be an O-line coach in the NFL. Like that's what like my vision was. I could not pass this opportunity up. This is to come back here, to be here, to continue on what Schlar built here, and to coach for Coach Stoops. Like, and I see myself like I don't know what I see myself as. I see like I love the college game because I love the development, and I love the college game because I get to run this style of offense. I was not fired up to come back to college and do a spread, it didn't fire me up to do that. It fires me up to come back to college and able to run this style of offense where you put guys in really good situations and you get to develop and you get to recruit the guys that you want, build relationships with them and watch them grow into becoming men and great husbands. And that's ultimately what we're trying to do.
I know you probably don't have the best answer to this because you haven't been able to work with them hands-on, but the one thing last year, the big step that wasn't necessarily taken, there wasn't as much outside zone.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of inside, and maybe a game or two here and
Yeah.
there would work. But what is that final, like, how do you get to the point where you can confidently run that consistently?
You do it it's what you do. I mean, you build your offense off of the wide zone and then everything else comes off of that. So like whether you were an inside zone or a gap scheme team, like our mentality with the Niners or this this style of offense was everything's built off the wide zone, and then everything else, inside zone and gap schemes, come off of that, and we try to make everything look exactly like wide zone. And how do you do it? Day one, you just start running wide. I mean, it's aiming points, it's running off the football, it's a mentality, and running through defenders and crossing the line of scrimmage and putting stress on the defense. And you just preach it from day, and you just do it, and it's gonna. I mean. And you just kind of go through it and you just kind of continue to teach it. I think the guys like it because we're not trying to be perfect. I mean, we're going to talk aiming points and we're going to do that and we're going to have movement and all that stuff. But the one thing I've learned the last 3 years is you do it. If you're going to commit to if you're going to have to run wide zone, you have to do it. It has to be your football play. Every two days of practice need to be wide zone to your inside zone is kind of how we look at it in the O-line world for like individual. Like we're going to work 2 days of outside zone to our 1 day of inside zone. 2 days of outside zone to our 1 day of inside zone if that gives you any aspect.